Hi everyone, this is Nest Signature. In today's tutorial, I'll be teaching you how to make this beautiful gown with a flare at the bottom and a ruched at the side. And also I'm going to teach you how to eliminate zipper bulge at the back. When you look at the back of this dress, it is taking the shape of the client. Can you see there's no bulge and it's just taking the shape of the client at the back? So if this is something you're interested in, please stay to the end of the video. Do not miss any part. If you are new to my channel or you have not subscribed to my channel, do well to tap on the subscribe button and tap on the notification bell so you get notified whenever I post new videos. So this is the fabric I'll be using. This light fabric. Is a vintage fabric. It's a little bit thicker than the vintage fabric. What I did, I folded my fabric into four. Okay, I first of all folded it into two, then folded it into four. So I'm going to cut the back and the front together. Please, I would love you to drop your comment in the comment section, and also give this video a thumbs up, share the link with others. Please, I will appreciate your thumbs up a lot and your comments, so please do that. So you go ahead and arrange the fabrics, arrange them properly so that one will not be longer than the other. So what I'm going to do right away now is to take the waist measurement from the shoulder. I'm going to take the waist measurement from the shoulder. So from my shoulder to my waist is 16. That is, the shoulder to the waist of the client is 16. Okay, so go ahead and measure 16 or whatever is the point of the waist of your client. So what I did while folding my fabric into four is that I used the larger part of my client's body, which is the hip. Then add your sewing allowance. Okay, after dividing your hip by 4, add your sewing allowance. Then you can use it to fold your fabric. What I did was to measure the shoulder, take the shoulder measurement. So after taking the shoulder measurement, at the shoulder measurement point there, I'm going to go down by 1 inch. The next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take the neck circumference. So after marking your neck circumference, you can connect the slants to meet the neck. Okay, from the shoulder you connect it to meet the neck line, like so. At this point you can take the depth of your neck. If it is a round neck, if it's a boat and neckline, if it is sweetheart neckline, this is when you impute the type of neck that you want. But what my clients want is a round neckline. So go ahead and mark out the depth. It can be 5, it can be 6, it can be 4, it can be 3. Okay, so I've gone ahead to mark the neckline like so. So at the shoulder, I'm going to come down after dividing my bust by 6 and adding 1.5 inch to it. So that's automatically my armhole. So at that point, I'm going to take for the chest line, I'm going to take the shoulder measurement too, which is 7 inches at the upper part. Okay, so this is my chest line. At the chest line, I'll just take my bust divided by 4. That's the client bust divided by 4. Then add the sewing allowance on it. I hope you understand. After taking your your armhole measurement, automatically that place is your chest line, so that's where you're going to take your bust measurement. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to take the length. No, we didn't take at the beginning, we didn't take the hip and the length of our dress. Okay, so now we only took the hip. So now we're going to take the waist, the hip measurement from the waist, like so. Can you see? So the hip is 24 inches. Can you see? I've marked it. Then you can go ahead and take your desired length of the gown. Remember, the gown is of 2 segments. Okay, this basic gown, then a little flare at the bottom part of it. So ensure that you take your client's measurement properly so that you can be able to insert your flare at the bottom. Okay, so it should be above your knee. so that you'll be able to insert your um that's your basic body's gown should be above your knee, so that you'll be able to insert your flare. So at the waist measurement, I'm going to take the waist divided by 4, then add my sewing allowance. Remember the waist we carry that, so ensure you add your dart also allowance, and your dart should be 1 inch, so you should add 1 inch to your waist measurement. I hope you understand. Then before your sewing allowance, okay, so for the hip, divide the hip by 4 and go ahead and add your sewing allowance. So for the hem of the gown, just go ahead and minus 1 inch from the hip measurement that you took. That's 1 inch minus the hip measurement that you took. So if your hip measurement is, maybe after adding your allowance, is 16 inches, okay, so the bottom part should be 15. I hope you understand. So I went ahead to connect the hip to the waist down to the armhole. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to cut it together. So before we do that, I want to trim the zipper allowance. Okay, our zipper allowance is 1.5 inches. So at the zipper allowance at the back part, I'm just going to go in by 1.25 an inch. Okay, that's how I do mine, and it works perfectly for me. So at that point, I went in by 1.25 an inch. So it's just 1/4 inch that is remaining for the back the zipper for the waist part. Can you see how I bend it? So from the waist, I bend it to meet the neck. From the waist, I bend it to meet the hip. I hope you understand. So that is how to eliminate zipper bulge for the back. Okay, I went ahead to cut it, so watch how I'm cutting it. Okay, so you can see that the waist part of the zipper allowance, it is very tiny. I only left 1/4 inch. So for the front, I went ahead to slit the front bodies into 2 at the waist part of it. Okay, because I don't want that to be at the skirt part of the gown at the front. So I divided my nipple to nipple, which is 7. I divided it into 2, then I impute 3.5. Then at the top, I went ahead to from the shoulder to mark 10 inches, then connect it to the 3.5 inches and notch it. So from the 3.5 inches down to the 10 inches I marked will be for my dart. Still at the front, the down part, I went in at the middle by 1 inch and slanted to meet the side. Then at the side, I went in by 1 inch. Watch the video carefully and slanted to meet the hip. So I did this to eliminate the darts. Okay, I don't want to put that at the front, and also foldings at the front. Okay, so I went out to cut it out. So what I will do next now is to remove 1 inch from the back pattern at the bottom, like so. You find out when you join the front upper part and the down part, it will not align with the back, so one will not be longer than the other. So notch your zipper allowance at the top and at the bottom of your back bodies. So go ahead and cut your interfacing. So watch the video carefully. I'm placing the front interfacing. That's what you are going to do for the back. To just place any fabric. If you don't want to use bias to turn the neck of your fabric of your dress, just go ahead and place it on under pieces on fold, then cut it out with the neck shape of the neck of your dress. So just place it on top the main fabric, then sew it on around also the shape of the neck of your dress, and flip it over and notch it and give it a good press. The next thing I'm going to do also now is to put the dart. Remember the 3.5 inches that I notched the other time. So you are going to hold your dart till the 10 inches that you hold from the shoulder down. Okay, you go ahead and fold both sides differently and sew down your dart. So for the back, you do the same thing. Place it on another fabric and cut the way we did to the front. So go ahead and also trim off the fabric. If you don't want to use bias, do the same for the back and turn the neck and give it a good press. I hope you understand. I have sewn the front. I have joined the upper part with the down part of the gown. This is the front. I've hold my dart. Can you see? I've also sewed the neck and flip it over. So I joined the upper part and the down part of the front together like so. Okay, so you can see the neck. I've ironed it and give it a good press. Let me show you how it is. I went ahead to conceal the rough edges, folding them in using hemming gum. Okay, so you can go ahead and also weave, and you can top stitch if you don't have hem gum, but it's good to use hem gum for neat finishing. I went ahead to also hold my dart at the back. What I did was to measure from the shoulder, also to mark at 10. Okay, I mark at 10 like so. Then from the 10, I marked out another 10 inches from the 10. I hope you understand. Down to the 10. Then from there, that particular place that my hand is, I measured 10 inches again. So at the waist, as you are sewing the waist part will be wider than every part. So you just be sloping it tiny to meet each edge. Then at the waist part, it will be wide. I hope you understand. So I went ahead to do that to both pieces. Then join it at the bottom like so. Can you see? Okay, I've also um I've also turned the neck of the back. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is to place the front and the back together, and I'll go ahead and join them. So before then, I'm going to attach the zipper. Okay, I'll go ahead and attach the zipper. So for the front, before we join, we are going to mark out from the nipple to nipple. Okay, nipple to nipple measurement. So if you look at my fabric now, it is at the wrong side. Look at it very well. So I went ahead to cut a piece of 2.5 inch. Then I folded one part in, then ironed it. Can you see? So I place it on the skirt part of this front part. That's the front part on the down part from the skirt side where I slit the upper part from. Okay, then later join. So go ahead and sew at the side like so, then sew at both side, then sew at the middle. I hope you understand. So follow the nipple to nipple measurement from the dart. Okay, follow the dart and rule it straight. Then before you drop this piece on top, and go to your sewing machine and sew it straight at two sides, then at the middle, because that's where we are going to fix our rope. Look at what I have been demonstrating. Can you see? That's what I did. I went ahead to place the fabric on top of the wrong side like so. Okay, remember this is the wrong side of our front parts. Okay, so and I've sewed it at the middle. So this is how it look on the right side. So you just be seeing the thread at the right side. So at the back, I've also fixed the zipper. So I'll go ahead and place the front pattern on top of it. You can see that they've aligned perfectly. I'll go ahead and join both sides at the shoulder and at the side using my sewing allowance. So after sewing, we'll move to the next step by fixing the flare. So this is how our dress look like. Can you see how the shoulder and the neck look like? So for the flare at the bottom, just go ahead and measure the circumference of the bottom of your gown, okay, of that bodice, the bottom part of it. Measure it, go ahead and cut out on bias form or on 360 degree, sorry, 180-degree flare like so, and cut out your piece. I hope you understand. So just place it round on the bottom part and attach. So after attaching it, this is how it looks. Okay, I hope you know how to cut 180-degree flare. You can also use 360-degree flare. I have a video on that. Okay, I also have a video on 180-degree flare. So do well to check my channel, or I'll drop the link in this description box or in the comment section. Do well to check on it so that you know how to cut this part. Okay, so I went ahead at that place that I sew piece on at the front. Look at it. Okay, so at that piece, I'm just going ahead and put opening, little opening. Be careful so that you don't cut the main fabric. It is that piece that you attach to it that you are going to cut. Okay, so carefully look at it, cut it, ensure that you do not cut your main front fabric. Let me flip it over so that you can see it well. So at that front part where we added one piece the other time, I hope you remembered. So that's the place we are going to cut open. So I went ahead to sew belt rope like this, long rope. So I sewed two. So I'll go ahead and attach my my safety pin, then I'll pass it through the hole. Okay, pass it through the pipe like so. Remember I told you to sew the pieces in three times, one at the side, one at the right side, one at the left, then one at the middle. I hope you understand. So now we are fixing the passing the rope through it down like so. So pass it till we get to the opening at the upper part like so. So you bring it out. We are going to do the same to the other side too. Okay, when we do the same to the other side, next thing we are going to do, we are going to sew on it at the top. I hope you understand. So I'll pass this rope through it, then I'm going to secure the rope at the top with my sewing machine, and you can go ahead and attach your hand. So this is how it looks. You can go ahead and attach your sleeve of your choice. See you in our next tutorial.